Tabletop Spotlight, brought to you by Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy.
Hey everyone, I'm AdamHarry from Bella Souls with
Evan from Dragon's Lair Comics Fantasy.
and we're back with another Tabletop Spotlight. Evan, you've got the game changer today, huh?
Oh, the General's Handbook for
That's
all your
right.
Age of Sigmars. So yeah, this is the big thing everyone's been waiting for. It has a point system for Age of Sigmar. It has some different ways to play, so open play, narrative play, and match play.
Right.
So we'll go over those in a second. But this small book, and it's not that big.
It's good size.
Yeah, it's basically the rule book you want. So it has
yeah.
The 4-page rules you can still get for free online.
Yep.
However, this has more in depth, and if you want to do a league or anything
Yep.
like that, this is the book you want.
This is going to become the new standard for Age of Sigmar,
Yes,
I think,
yes.
going to play. Everybody's excited about the points.
Uh-huh.
Me personally, I'm really stoked to see all of the campaign and narrative interest play stuff because, I used to play tournaments all the time, but man, it's something about running campaigns and having linked games.
Exactly.
And
If you're
leveling
playing the story.
stuff up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Just not even the main story, but making your own story, I think, is a lot more interesting. So
Yes.
I'm pretty stoked. I'm kind of excited. Let's just dive into this
Get
book.
into it.
All right, Evan, the General's Handbook.
Man.
I am pretty pumped, man. I'm a little shaky, man. This is
This is
exciting
big
time.
for Age of Sigmar. Yeah.
So I know everybody knows this has points in it.
yes.
But
Which we'll go over in a
we
second.
will go over. I promise we will go over those. But there's a couple other ways. There's open play and campaign play.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's narrative play, open play, and then pitch battles, which is tournament worthy.
And there's also a neat little warband thing, right?
Yes, which we also go over.
Which,
Path
holy
to Glory.
crap.
Path to Glory play, which it's awesome.
Let's go ahead and just take a crack here. So there we have the contents.
Yes.
Mustering your army, stuff like that, open play rules, narrative game rules, which I love reading about how to do campaign stuff. That's
Yes.
always really interesting to me.
And then the match play
Match
rules
play.
is the kind of not tournament worthy, but also league worthy rule set and how to build army.
And then Grand Alliance, all that stuff, all of the allegiance abilities.
Yeah.
So if you're playing, if you like you play one faction, like if I just do Stormcast Eternals.
If you don't ally with anything else.
Right,
Yeah.
just straight Stormcast Eternals, I get to use stuff from that chart.
It's really cool.
That's from match play stuff. So
Yeah.
it's like the Warlord trait from 40k.
Yeah.
First off, awesome art throughout
Yes.
the whole book.
And most of it's new art too.
Yep,
Never seen
lots
before.
of new art. How to use the battle plans and stuff like that.
Yep.
This is all interesting
guide,
stuff. Quick
yeah.
guide stuff. There's lots of missions in here, man.
It's great. If you run a league at your store, or if you have friends that get together and play scenarios, this book will last you in just scenarios alone.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
worth that.
These crazy terrain. I don't know if these are new kits coming out, man, but I was like, dude, these
Cool
look
terrain.
awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's some Nurgle dudes. Awesomeness. All that good stuff. Let's talk about open play, man.
Here's the open play.
Okay.
I just want to shout out to Seraphon. It's one of the
That's your
ones
boys.
I play.
That's your boys, huh?
Go Skinks. Community Skinks all the way.
There it is. So open play introduction. This is just what is open play, how it works.
Yeah, and of course, if you don't know, open play is just like a relaxed
pickup
game.
games.
Yeah, it's pickup games.
Yeah.
They're
It's theoretically. It's your drinking game.
Yeah,
going with
basically.
your buddy. You
You
just want to throw
say,
some dice.
hey, what would be cool if we matched up these guys and saw what happened,
Right.
Yeah, so...
And you can do stuff. It's also fun too because it's a lot of multiplayer stuff
Yes.
you can do.
Mm-hmm.
So 2-on-2s, 4-player free for all stuff like
Yeah.
that. It has rules to explain. And these are
to even it out,
This
too.
is kind of an addendum to the 4 pages of rules. It's got more stuff just to make it more simple to follow.
Yeah, and another way to think of this book is like it's the official rule book for Age of Sigmar. The rules are in the back, the 4 pages of rules that we have, but it
How to
adds
play,
but it adds more rules, not more rules, but like adds a few rules to just strengthen the game in a way.
Yeah.
To clarify things, to make things fair. So if you were going to get an Age of Sigmar, you can get the rules, the 4-page rules free on the internet, but I would definitely suggest getting this.
Yeah, I would just pick this up. If
Yeah.
you're interested about Age of Sigmar at all, pick this one up anyway.
Yeah.
This is the rule book. This is what you really
basically.
wanted. This is what everybody wanted. It just came out late. So here's a couple of different scenarios. King of the Hill. I like this too because they use the Roma battle boards and they use those to kind of show you how to set up everything. So,
yes.
there's how to do that. There's the Fog of War scenario here. It's chock full of multiplayer scenarios in this open play part.
Yep.
Different artifacts. I'm not going to spend too much time going over them, but they're all really cool. Narrative gameplay.
Yes.
This is some of the most exciting stuff to me.
Basically like story mode if you're playing a video
Right.
game. It's very cool. Scenarios are going to be based off of stories. They'll go over the backstory too and stuff like that.
Yep. And it starts, smaller games, and it builds up to big games.
Yeah.
Really big games, hold or die style stuff. Lots of extra stuff. War of Storms. So this is kind of part of the Realm Gate War stuff.
Yeah.
All that cool stuff.
Just different scenarios.
So, themed armies. So how that all works. Briefing battles of the past. So if you wanted to do historical battles, I don't know.
Maybe from the old world or something.
Fantasy battles.
Yeah.
But that's part of the narrative play. So this is really if you're not a competitive player and you're just looking for a cool way to build your army.
Yeah. If you just love story and fantasy, it's a cool way to do it. Yeah.
It's a really cool way to do it. So there's all that. Again, if you have been keeping up with the Realm Gate Wars books, that one's wrapping up. This talks about the different factions too, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You got the Stormcast, the Death of Nagash. So, yeah. He's already dead. Yeah, so I'm just trying to move along here, but there's different battle plans, Archeon and stuff like that. Yeah. Craziness. So, skipping ahead. Trying to get to so much cool art. Like, look at that.
Purple and blue.
Colors you don't normally see. Yeah, pretty cool. Campaigns, how to do campaigns. This is a really cool section to me. I'm always curious as to how to run campaigns or make them better and stuff like that. This specific stuff, though, starts off, this is the Path to Glory campaigns.
Right.
So if you have been playing for a while, you may remember a little game called Mordheim.
Yeah.
The 40K version of Necromunda.
Has been around for a while.
Yeah.
I think I heard they're trying to start it up again.
I hope so.
Hopefully, that is a fun game.
So, if you've ever wanted to start with a small warband,
Yes.
and build up from there,
Yes.
holy crap, this is the game for you. So it has warband sheets that you can fill out.
And so it's anyone who plays, of course, Mordheim is going to be very similar. It's your guys, the point system, all that stuff. You have if you win or if you lose, you get to roll dice for different things, you get abilities. So it builds up, on top of each other. You play a game. You win or lose.
Guys die, they die.
They die permanently, but if you can buy some more. So it's all about having a warband, the same warband you use for every single match you play.
Yeah.
And it just builds up, or you lose a lot. So, I mean, it's up to you.
There's champions and stuff like that. This part got me so excited. I was like, holy crap, dude.
So it's like Age of Mordheim in a way.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Because the rule set, I think, really works well with small scale stuff. So.
I want to point out too, not every army has a chart for warbands. So we have Chaos.
And they all have their own rules and charts, like that, bonuses.
Yeah, definitely.
So
we have the Stormcast.
Again, more rules and charts. This is your unit table that you can roll on to see what you're bringing.
Fire Slayers.
Yep.
Skaven,
which all their own charts and stuff like that. Awesomeness.
Iron Jaws.
So the orcs. Yep.
And then Sylvaneth,
which are coming out. Obviously.
Yes, soon.
Yep.
As of this video, soon.
Hopefully, yeah.
And last but not least, Death. So if you play like Dwarves or Seraphon or those guys, they're not going to have their own warband. I do believe they said they're going to come out with one.
I would expect to see
that. I would expect nonetheless. Yeah. So that's something to look forward to if you play those.
And then they have different scenarios for the Path of Glory specific stuff. So
keep in mind too, Path of Glory is going to be smaller armies.
Yep.
But
you're warbands. You're not
warbands. So you're not armies. It's something to keep in track.
Map campaigns, which is always fun, how they do map campaigns. I think talk about it here.
Yes.
They talk about branching campaigns, tree campaigns, how those all work, how to set those up, how to run those.
Yeah.
I always love those because they always lead to really interesting stories.
Definitely.
Like win or lose, if you play in a branch campaign, if you've ever played in one, you've got a crazy story to tell. Remember that third mission where I thought I was in the lead and it completely swung at me and I lost the next two? It's crazy stuff. So all the different layouts and stuff like that, different scenarios, again, you can play. It goes on to talk about matrix campaigns. These are more complicated than a branch campaign.
Yes.
But again, you can have some crazy results. So back to the scenario I was talking about, maybe you won the first 3 games and you lost the 4th game and it caused this crazy split to happen and maybe you got backstabbed.
Anything could happen in these, it's a good way to get back together. Not back together with friends, but have your own thing each week or every other week, just with friends, do your own scenario. It's a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. And then match play. This is the part where we're talking about points.
Yeah, so a lot of leagues are going to adopt this. A lot of leagues who do tournaments are going to adopt this. This is more of the competitive gameplay. So this is what's going to happen with the point system, which we're going to about to get to. But it has very specific rules on how you can build your army.
Yep.
And then also every unit has its own point value. Open play, you can do your own system however you want.
However you were determining it before,
Yes.
you can still do all that with open
If you're going to play match play, it's all about building the army. And it's just in a way to keep every army fair.
And they have this little
even
blurb
out.
too about the gaming clubs and
Yes,
tournaments.
yeah.
That's what this is for.
Exactly. It's for the clubs because that for a long time, Age of Sigmar was missing rules or kind of like a structure for leagues to play.
That's a
there's
good
been
word.
a few out there that have been successful, but this is going to help out a lot with leagues just starting up. You hopefully you get some in your towns.
Yeah, and this is great because it's a standardized structure.
Yes.
So we're here in Austin. We could drive to
Dallas or up to New Mexico or
or I don't know, Kansas somewhere. I can
Go
walk
to Canada.
I can go to Canada and I can say, hey, who wants to play 1,500 point game at Age of Sigmar? Everybody knows what we're talking about. Everybody's on the same page.
Exactly, and as long as they're following the rules, it should be.
Because we'll get to that. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
There's ladder campaigns and how that all works. If you wanted to do tournament play, tournament game is how this all works.
Yes.
But this is what we're talking about right here. You want to play a 1,500 point pitch battle game?
Yes.
I know. Say, hey Evan, what do you want to play, man? 1,500 points, or let's say
Let's
2,000
go
points.
2,000.
That's what he would say to me.
Yeah.
But it has here how to build your army out.
Yes.
So you would have example here.
1 to 6 leaders, 3 or more battle line, which are basically like your troops.
Core troops, yeah.
Artillery 0 to 4, behemoths 0 to 4, so those are your monsters. Artillery. Interesting enough, artillery doesn't just mean war machines at all, because there's certain units also that are artillery.
Right,
So
it'll say on the
flamers, for instance, for chaos, that's an artillery unit.
Yep.
And then other units, any number. So
if you were wondering what all those keywords were at the bottom,
yes. That's going to be important. So actually, these keywords are actually, when we get to the list of points, these keywords are going to be next to the unit. It'll tell you what kind of unit it is. So so if you have played open play before, you might have to maybe fix your army, but if you have like 50 flamers, that's an exaggeration. You might have to say, because the rules say I can only bring 0 through 4 artillery
if you were rocking 4 maw crushers, 10 maw crushers.
First off, that's kind of a screwy thing to do, but
secondly, that's also kind of impressive that you would do that. I hope you built and paint them all, but but that's like running 10 behemoths.
Yes.
Like it's not a standard. You wouldn't be able to do that in matched play, which is what people were looking for. They wanted that standardized thing.
And here's an example of the rules that they're putting in to clarify a few things. This has already been leaked, but I want to show you again. This is the 3 rules of 1. So, for instance, any save rolls or attack rolls or wound rolls of 1 automatically fail, no matter what.
You can have a 1-up.
Yeah, no matter what bonuses. You shouldn't technically never have a 1-up, but
right.
No matter what bonuses you have or anything like that, a 1 fails. Of course, you can re-roll. That makes the re-rolling of 1s a lot more special.
Right.
They're a lot more powerful. You want those. Another one is, which a lot of people are interested in, the mages. Out of all your army, you can only attempt a spell once during your round. So no matter how many mages you are. So if you tried to do Arcane Bolt with 1, if you succeed or fail, no other mage can try that same spell.
It's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. So that in a way kind of nerfs magic using armies, but at the same time, you just have to think, more strategically, like which spell is most important, which caster who better has an ability to cast that spell should I give it to?
Yeah, you can't have 4 mages cast 4 arcane bolts anymore.
Yeah.
You can just 1 bolt per phase. Or not phase, but for help me out. One cast per turn for you
for each spell. And then the last one, of course, is if you have any attack rolls or anything like that build up on each other. Let's say you roll 6, you can roll more. You can't roll a 3rd time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So if you do
an
attack roll and it gets 2 6s, and those 2 6s mean you can roll 2 more attack roll. If you land 2 more 6s, you can't do that again.
The 6s only explode once.
Yes, they can only stack once. That's the rule of 1. So those are some clarifications in those rules. Makes it a lot nicer. I like it a lot.
I also like the fact that they give you kind of a time limit, not time limit, but like a time gauge.
Yes,
because if you walk up most games, you say, "Hey, I want to play a Warhorse game, 3 or more hours. I don't know if I can do a 2,500 point game today. How about a Vanguard game?"
Warhorse, of course, is 2,500 points.
Right. So it gives you a rough estimate. It's not. It depends on your play, how efficient you are too.
It's only play, and this, of course, this probably are not for time. Like if you're new to the game, it's gonna be a little more. Just keep that in mind.
Right.
This is like 2 players who've played before.
But it also helps out tournament organizers too.
Oh, it does a lot. If you're a tournament organizer, like for instance, I will be running a tournament soon. We're only gonna do 3,000 point games because we don't have time for 3 Warhost games.
Right.
So
that's a 10-hour tournament. Pretty much.
Yeah, exactly.
Lunch, and not counting in between rounds.
Exactly. So that's something to keep in mind for these pages are very important.
Yeah,
basically.
Very, very important stuff.
Yes.
It talks about the different types of stuff as far as like what's a battle line.
Yes.
Stuff like that. Triumphs, how that works. Different missions. These are the pitched battle missions. You notice most of these have similar setups.
Yes.
They're going to be very even. They're not crazy deployment stuff. Border war, they're all different. All the missions are different. They might look the same down here, but the how to win scenarios is very different. Mm-hmm. This is just a battle report to try to give you a kind of example how to play. Skip ahead because I don't want to spoil it. So, and then we get to the thing everybody was...
Point system.
Points.
Here we go.
Yes.
All right, so let's just go ahead and start off with the first one, Chaos.
We're going to read each one line by line? No.
Line by line, no. Let me try to get this in frame. So, pitch battle profile. So the first thing you're going to see is the name.
Yep.
The next thing is going to be the minimum and maximum. That's another thing to look at. So you have a maximum of troops you can bring, or a certain amount of troops you can bring.
Yep.
The points next to it is how much it costs for the minimum.
So we'll get to that in a second. What's the next thing on that?
Next thing is actually the keyword. So if they're artillery, if they're battle line, so that makes them units, whatnot. And the next thing after that will tell you if you can bring only one of them. So in this case, for Ungor Raiders,
there's no notes on them.
There's notes. So it'll have notes. For instance, the Ungor Raiders have this. I'm going to try to get this better. Has that note?
Okay.
So you can bring. I think it's more if you have a certain unit.
So if you're bringing all Bray herds.
Yeah.
You can bring more of those.
Let's say Archaon. He's in here. It says you can only bring one Archaon. Obviously,
Shocker.
there's only one Archaon, so you can't bring more. So that's another thing to keep on.
So what we were stopping. What we want to talk about too is with the points, how to build your list, which is pretty cool. So they have the minimum number and then they have the points for the minimum.
Right.
So for example, here's a gore unit. The minimum is 10, the max is 30, and they're 80 points a pop.
Yes.
So if I wanted to take 30 gores, every increment of 10 cost me 80 points.
Yes, exactly.
So if I go from 10 to 20,
yes,
that's going to be 160 points. If I go from 20 to 30, it's going to be 240 points. I did that in my head just now, so it's pretty.
There's no calculators.
No calculators. But it's cool. And another thing too is like they mentioned it earlier. But if you don't have enough models to max it out,
yes,
you still have to pay the max points.
Yes.
So if you only have 25 models and you want to run a size 25 unit, you still have to pay 240 points.
And let me go over something too real quick because I think we skipped it over. Summoning. Summoning is a really big difference in this one. So leagues have their own rules for a while. This is going to clarify things. Summoning, you allocate a certain amount of points from your total amount of points as your summoning pool. So let's say if we're playing a 1,000-point game, I want to allocate 200 of that 1,000 on the side for summoning.
Okay.
Now you don't have to declare what you're summoning, but later in the game, when you summon something, you take the points out of the ones you allocated towards it.
Okay.
So let's say I'm playing this land, like I have this land mage priest, and he's going to summon a unit of temple guard, or Saurus guard they're called now. So I summon that unit of Saurus guard. The point cost that they cost will be taken out of the allocated points I had on the side. When that runs out, you can't summon anymore.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it's a big difference.
Do you have to determine that beforehand, or you can just pull whatever you have out of your collection?
Whatever you have out of your collection, if you have the spell to do it. So Seraphon, everything you bring out has its own spell.
The summoning spell would determine.
Yeah, exactly. So, or if you play Beastman, you have the your guys who can summon the big monsters. I can't remember what the spell is called, but so you're still limited to what you can summon, obviously.
Right.
Not everyone can summon, but that's how you can summon with the points, the allocated points. I just want to clarify.
So have you got to play any of it with the?
Yes. So we played one match, and like I said, when I played the Seraphon, I allocated 300 points out of a 2,000 game. We went a little weird.
Sure.
And so when I was playing, I wanted to summon a Bastiladon. I got it off. So Bastiladon cost, I think it was 350 points, I think. It's a bit expensive. It was 200, I can't remember.
200 points, whatever.
Yeah, whatever it cost, I took that out of my allocated points. Now what's interesting to note is your points could get down to like 10 points left, you might not be able to ever spend that 10 points.
Right.
So it's kind of a gamble. You might want to think to yourself what you're going to summon.
Why would you want to summon then instead of just playing it on the board?
The biggest thing is, so summoning, you can summon them out somewhere.
Right.
The biggest thing too is, let's say I have a unit here and a unit here and we're going that way, right?
Sure.
This unit is going, they both hit something, this unit's starting to die. So to reinforce, I summon another unit behind them to keep going.
There you
go. So summoning's more of a, in the moment, I need this here, right?
Yep.
So previously a lot of leagues would say, okay, you can have a summoning pool and you specify what you're gonna bring in. This is different. This is in the moment, I need some flying units. I'm gonna summon those over
If
there.
I have the models and I have the points left over,
exactly.
Boom, I can bring them.
Exactly.
So summoning is actually a pretty powerful tool.
Yes, it's always been powerful. This keeps it powerful, but it's just different now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to account for those points you want to spend.
Yeah.
You may not use them.
No,
you may not use them
not
all,
at all.
but the fact that you can kind of, have that utility of playing what you need when you need it.
Yeah.
That's kind of a big deal.
That's
a lot of
huge
players were confused about that. That's one of the things I wanted to clarify
Yeah,
too. So
yeah.
summoning's pretty cool.
So,
Anyway, we don't need to go through all the points.
Yeah, there's a lot. Every army has it.
Every army.
I also want to clarify real quick too, the Grand Alliance books didn't have every unit that's going to be in here. So for instance, dwarves.
Yep.
In the Grand Alliance books, the flame cannon was in the Grand Alliance for order. So I thought that meant that they're going to take it out. The flame cannon has a point value in here.
Same thing with ogres.
Yes.
There's some
yeah,
frost
exactly.
tusk guys or something like that.
So that means they're still legal. And
Yep.
I think I don't remember, but I think Tomb Kings are still in here. No, that could be wrong. Never mind. We'll find out. So this is going to go over point values. Grand Alliance of the Realm. So this is going to go over the Grand Alliances. Again, there are the big books.
Yes.
They go over everything in detail, so we can kind of skip these.
But what these are, the important thing is if you take an all Stormcast Eternals
this is the
list,
one you were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
Yes.
this is an order ability. You take it all whatever, then you can roll. You can roll on these charts and get these command table bonuses.
Yes.
And there's also artifacts of order, which you can roll on to get. So they're nice little boosts, which is pretty cool.
And one nice thing too, I hate to backtrack, but the points, if you're playing one army, it's like all on 2 pages. So it's not like the points.
You don't have to keep flipping
points
around.
are like a few pages. That's
Right.
it. So it's nice.
So everybody was all excited about it. It's one of the smallest sections in the book.
Right. But the rest of the book is still cool.
It's so cool, yeah.
Yeah. So getting over more Legion stuff,
And then the actual rules.
the rules, which of course are just still 4 pages. So that's
That's it. But this is the rule book everybody's gonna want to pick up if you're playing Age of Sigmar.
It's the General's Handbook.
Yes, so it's in stores now.
Well, by the time you see this,
It might be sold out. I don't know.
We'll see. But yeah, this is something that you're gonna want.
Yeah, very cool stuff. So we went really long on that one. Let's go ahead and hop out for a really quick recap. All right, so that was the Warhammer Age of Sigmar General's Handbook.
Yes.
Man, I'm stuttering. I'm so excited about this.
That's so cool.
So I said it could be in stores. It really depends on when you watch this video. Right?
It depends on when you watch the video. I think the street date is the 27th of July,
Which is 2016. If you're watching this 100 years in the future,
hopefully
you're
you are.
probably playing something else.
But yeah, so that's the official. Some stores have gotten it early, but not to sell.
Right.
There's stores that
Preview
usually
copies.
have like leagues, like for us, Dragon's Lair, we have a league going
Yep.
on. So they are open still. If you have a store that has it, they should be able to show you out.
So you definitely should go check them out.
Yes.
They're in. Hopefully they're in your favorite local gaming store.
Yeah, hopefully,
or Games Workshop store if you're one of those locals.
Exactly.
Go check it out. Poke around at it. It's got some really cool stuff. It is a game changer. It
Yes,
literally is.
It's a very cool book. It's only $25 too. So
wow, really? $25?
Yeah,
That's got to be a misprint.
hopefully not. I don't want them to correct that.
Right.
So,
$25. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's a good price too. All color.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Everything you need to learn to play Age of Sigmar is in here. It's got the 4 pages of rules like we saw.
Yes.
It's got all the points, all the different methods of play. It's
Yes.
even got freaking Mordheim basically in there.
Yeah, it's
So-
like Age of Mordheim.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
I'm completely stoked about that.
Yeah.
That is amazing. So, anyway, we're gonna stop talking and go play. So, I'm AdamHarry from Bell Souls,
I'm Evan from Dragon's Lair Comics Fantasy.
and this has been another Tabletop Spotlight. Thanks again for watching. Have a good one.
Tabletop Spotlight brought to you by Dragon's Lair Comics and Fantasy. Thanks for watching.